Okay, so we talk to ourselves? Do we talk to ourselves? Okay. Making progress here, little by little, no sweat. Let's talk to Uncle Ray. Hey, my uncle, buddy. Pal? Oh, wife, it isn't Miss Vey. Miles Murdoch. You say that as if you didn't just watch me walk across the room toward you. Not that I don't enjoy being subjected to your saccharine disposition, but I was under the impression we were on the clock. Do you have time to spend chatting with me? I'd like to cover all my bases. And who knows what I'll dig up by talking to you. Clearly, you're a guy who likes to keep secrets. Oh my, how practical. I don't keep you waiting then. Let's get on with it. I'm sure I already know the answer to this question, but is there any point to hearing your account at the time of murder? Or your thoughts on Shield? Not particularly. I wasn't even in California until a few days ago. And as far as the case goes, I still maintain that Donald Graves is the killer. It's the simplest solution. I don't need to tell you who Shield is, do I? Yeah, I figured. So you say your real name is Miles Murdoch, huh? So I say. I don't appreciate you questioning the fabric of my identity, Mia. Your first name is actually Miles. Most certainly is. That's why I picked Edgeworth as an alias, naturally. I'm curious about your story. You said you've been chasing Shield for 5 long years. I mean, you've been involved in this since the very beginning. That's right. I was the FBI's pick to prosecute for the original room and board investigation, actually. Of course, no arrest was made, so I wasn't much help at the time. You were supposed to be the one to put Shield behind bars. That is how it was supposed to go, yes. So why did you come to prosecute this case? You said you came here off the record, right? You must have a bone to pick with someone here, then. Yeah. How should I explain? Shield's room and board was an eye-opening experience for me, to say the least. Consider for a moment the fact that I was the guy they chose to work at the room and board. I think that should be pretty telling as to what sorts of things I've seen in my line of work. But Shield, aka you if I'm right, struck a chord with me. There are groups of people all over the globe who hate and kill and destroy. All in the name of a god, or an ideology, or some piece of history. I don't believe there's any reason that could justify such a suffering. At least there's a reason. Shield has no reason. Not beyond fun or pleasure, anyways. It's sick. And it's needless. There are individuals who kill for similar reasons. I knew that better than anyone. But I think it's the scale that gets to me. It's not killing for your own pleasure, but for others. To me, it raises questions about the human condition that I'd rather leave unanswered. Shield is something that shouldn't be allowed to exist in this world. That's why I'm here. Why the group expression? My spiel didn't move you that deeply, did it? Trying to tell if you're lying. Ever the skeptic, eh, Mia? How did you think that of your good pal Miles? Have I ever lied to you? No, never. Lies? So what exactly is your game plan here, Murdoch? You say you're FBI, and you claim to uphold truth and justice, or whatever the hell. Then you immediately follow up by lying about the Bishop trial. What gives? Me? Tell a lie? I recall no such thing. Fine, play dumb. That's par for the course as far as I'm concerned. As long as you're sitting there giving me that shit-eating grin, let me tell you what I think. I think your behavior is unbecoming of a federal investigator. So unbecoming, in fact, that I have no choice but to think that your whole story is nonsense. Whoa. It's clear that you don't intend to uncover Shield's identity at all. Or you wouldn't be trying to get me murdered by a zero in this trial. Not without proof. No. What you're trying to do is bury this thing. Loose ends and all. That goes both with the Bishop case as well as our current situation. Pick an easy target. Braves. Me. You go after them as hard as you can. And you end things swiftly. That strikes me as the actions of a man with something to hide. And what if you're wrong, man? What if you're overthinking this? You keep making me out to be some sort of supervillain or something. But I'm human, just like you. Maybe I'm just scared. I never thought of that. Maybe being trapped in murder mystery hell is a bit more stressful than my usual day-to-day, huh? Oh, not enjoying the taste of your own medicine? Are you ever going to come out and say it? Or are you just going to keep insinuating at me? Still not willing to take that last step, huh? Come on, it's easy. Heck, I can just do it for you. You think I'm Shield? You think I kidnapped Charlie Klein, Damara, Rochelle, Daniel Whoa, Darren Griffiths, and all wild parts of Schmarkwitz and Nelson Colton and Meeting. Whoa, that's a lot of names just threw at me. Brothers think I had a hand in Kurt Bishop's death. And just maybe, you think I'm conspiring with the Zero in regards to our current predicament. There, was that so hard? Prefer to let the evidence do the talking for me. At the end of the day, evidence is just as subjective as anything else. Change how people look at it, and you change what it means. There's only one objective reality. That the truth isn't something you can shape with words. Objective reality? Now who's talking nonsense? Or are you purporting to be a perfectly objective observer of said objective reality? No, far from it, in fact. That's why I'm putting my faith in the evidence. It doesn't really matter what I think if I can't prove it beyond a doubt. This may not be a good case for you to ride or die on. Just saying. I do know one thing for certain, though. This is gonna end with you versus me. Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you? Sure then. I wouldn't want to ruin your fun. This is fun to you, huh? Guess I shouldn't be surprised. Don't get over yourself, whoever you are. You aren't fooling me. You like the thrill, don't you? The mystery, the chase. That's why you came here, isn't it? Why you stuck it out this long? Be honest. You'll have died. So there. What's the immediate death count at now? 7? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. All the more justice for you to dole out, though, huh? That's what it all boils down to, isn't it? Regardless of good or evil, you just want to be right. One who wins. So let's not play this game, okay? I know you're going to enjoy this. You're going to take me down, find the true killer, catch Shield, and love every dang minute of it. Provided you can actually manage all that, of course. You do realize you need to solve a murder, and then some, just to get to your grand finale, right? And to do that, you know you're going to need my help. Does that sit well with you, Miss Faye? And why would you help me? Because I want to live. Surprised that my priorities are straighter than yours? Yeah. I think not dying is more important than finding the truth or whatever. Sue me. Makes wonder which of us is really the nut job here, huh? Despite everything, prosecutor, I think I know where you and I stand now. Glad I could be of service. I'll see you in hell. Don't wait for me. That was delightfully ominous. Anyways, Charlie? And Catherine. Just doesn't make any sense to me. I think the situation's got us all a little on edge. Are you sure you're not just overthinking things? I don't see why else she would care about it so much. She was trying to pin a murder on me only a few hours ago. I shouldn't be surprised that she's trying to frame me for this, too. Now. I'm sure that's not what's happening. Detective? Ah, crud. You noticed me listening in. Sorry. I was just thinking about something. Or, huh? Oh, this photograph. You said it's of your mother. Whoa. That's right, it's just a picture. Nothing extraordinary about it at all. Mom herself was also pretty ordinary. Went to church. Liked to read. Loved my sister and I. Past tense? She passed away a few years ago. Oh. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you. But it's fine. What's not fine is that woman getting in my face about it. Mom has nothing to do with anything. And yet she seems intent on dragging her into this. I can handle her aggressive attitude, but I draw the line at my family. She won't even give me a decent reason why she's digging so hard. It's entirely unnecessary. Petty, even. Which is why you're concerned that she might try to throw you under the bus, right? She did say as much. I see. Behavior is puzzling. Hey, Mia. Would you do us a favor and explain all that for us? What? Wait. Were you listening in on that whole time? No? You liar. Eavesdropping, Mia? Really? How underhanded of you. Guess that makes us even. On that account, anyways. Hey, I'm only here because I wanted to speak with Detective Klein. All I was doing was waiting for you to finish your conversation. Sure, whatever you say. What you want to talk to me about? I wanted to hear your thoughts on Detective Bishop's actions on the night of the murder. Yeah, sure. I could do that. And while I'm here, might as well ask about the new information the detective just gifted to me. Huh. Just realized you don't handle your cases like other lawyers do. Thought trials were supposed to be slow and orderly. With you and that guy, it's more like a war zone. Given the situation, I'd put more stock in a stubborn attorney than a well-prepared one. So am I being complimented here, or, Courtrooms are kind of eerie when they're this empty. Look at this photograph. As you might have heard, Mr. Winters and I were discussing your recent behavior. You say that like I'm a 5th grader or something. If the shoe fits. And you call me petty? I'm sorry, I thought you weren't eavesdropping on us. Okay, yeah, you two have some beef, don't ya? We don't exactly have the time to unpack all that, so I'll just cut right to it. What's the deal with this photo I've been hearing so much about? Like I've been saying, there isn't any deal with it. Clearly, Miss Faye thinks there is. So come on. Give us a little dirt. She'd have to explain her involvement. Thing is, if Charlie had seen the photograph, he would recognize it. For the record, the only reason I haven't explained myself to you, Winters, because you would either have no idea what I'm talking about, or you would pretend like it. What do you mean by that? It's Doc. Oh, I got a reaction. Are you for real? I'm dead serious. Winters, you said that the woman in the photograph was your mother, correct? Not to you, I didn't. But, yes, that's right. Simply put, the fact that you are related to Doc makes for the possibility of a motive. The events of July 17th, anyways. I won't suspect you of being Shio unless the evidence supports it. And it doesn't, currently. Alright, hold on. Who's this Doc person? My mother wasn't a doctor. She was a preschool teacher. Forget that. Mia, are you being serious right now? Doc's daughter. It's an unrelated witness to this particular murder. If that's a coincidence, it isn't funny. If it's not a coincidence, then it looks pretty bad. Let's lay this to rest, shall we? Winters, would you mind telling us what your mother's name was? Patricia? Last name Winters. No. Markowitz. Oh! I screwed up. Charlie's mistake? What do you mean, you screwed up? That photo. Patricia Markowitz. It sounds like I overlooked a major clue in my investigation. Huh? Look, I'm sorry, Winters, but Mia is absolutely correct. You are a suspect. What? Wow, I feel incredibly validated all of a sudden. Huh. Damn it. I was the only one who could have found that picture and I completely missed it. This case would have been completely different if I had. I hope the brass doesn't find out. Wait! I still don't understand what's going on. Winters, how did your mother die? It's like I keep saying. I don't understand what that has to do with anything. Do you think I want to talk about this with you? Here? This is my mom we're talking about. This trial or whatever. It's crazy. Like a bad thriller or something. Got wrapped up in this purely by coincidence. Refused to believe my personal life is relevant. Yeah? She couldn't possibly tell you. At least, not in that sense. I know. I'm just curious what the official story was. It's too personal a subject, then fine. You don't have to answer. Would you be willing to answer a question about something else? What's that? If this is all a big coincidence, then tell me. How did you come to be employed at Jameson Memorial? I'm curious about that too, now that you bring it up. What? Where did that come from? There's nothing special. Wait. You aren't saying that... Winters? Montclair? Recognize your name? I was... headhunted. Huh? Jameson Memorial is a fairly new facility. It's only 4 years old. I was approached and offered a position a few months ago before it opened. I was working at Huntington before that. They were paying me well, but Jameson Memorial's offer was kind of ridiculous, honestly. What do you mean? I get paid very well for what I do. Well above the average for nurses, I should think. And I consider myself to be good at my job. Great, even. Still, I wondered about that number a few times. Is that right? You don't think I was brought on for some other reason, do you? This definitely isn't where I thought this conversation would go. It sounds like you suspect as much. Is there anything else odd about the hiring process? Did it feel rushed? Not rushed, no. But there was something else I thought was unusual. Usually interviews for nurses are handled by the facility's director with input from the head nurse. I was interviewed by Nathan. Ah. You mean Nathaniel Montclair? Yes. That is odd. I know he owns the building, but I don't think he actually knows anything about medicine. I take it but that was before his condition set in? Well, yes, obviously. He was a very different person back then. Quieter. Thinner, too. But still the same at heart. He and I hit it off immediately and became fast friends. And I've worked there ever since. Nathan would even come and visit sometimes, before he, you know. Nathaniel Montclair. What if it was because... Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Mia? Maybe. I think he might have been trying to make amends for what happened to Doc. I think so too. Never knew the guy all that well, but sounds like something he'd do. Yeah. Thanks, Winters. That's all the questions I have for you for now. Huh? Oh. Sure. Wait. I've got a question for you. A question? You and I don't see eye to eye. That much goes without saying. I don't know what goes on in that head of yours, and I don't know what you think of me exactly. But I'm not an idiot, all right? I'm not oblivious. Every time you've referred to my mother, you've called her Doc. I've been hearing other weird names, too. The Shield guy. Teddy. That woman's been called Puppet. The term survivors have been getting thrown around, too. You've claimed that I don't know how my mom died twice now. Well, you're right. I couldn't understand how you knew that, but I think I'm starting to get it. 5 years ago, 2 men in suits showed up at my door. They told me my mother had died. She got caught up in domestic terrorism, they said. An unfortunate coincidence. They said the incident was under investigation, that they couldn't give me any details. And that's all I've ever heard about it. I'm sorry. That incident that killed my mother. You two were involved. Weren't you? No. It's more like everyone here was involved, isn't it? Everyone but me. What happened to my mother? What is happening in this courtroom? Someone please tell her. She's dying here. She's suffering. She deserves to know. Remember what you said. You said that the person who killed her was in this room. That's what you told me. I'm here. By coincidence. That's all. I just so happened to be on duty that day. That storm just so happened to change course at the last moment. The next nurse just so happened to no-show on me. I just so happened to be in the right place to help that man out in the pouring rain. If any one of those things hadn't happened, then I wouldn't be here. No, I'd be at home. With my husband. With my dog. Just like every other day. You're married? What? Is that so surprising? You don't wear a ring. It can be a workplace hazard. I've gotten into the habit of not wearing it. Oh. Didn't cross your mind that I might have a life beyond this case? No. Of course not. I wouldn't blame you if you did. The longer I am trapped here, the less convinced I am that everything is all just a coincidence. About why I'm here. And about my mom. In fact, it doesn't feel much like a coincidence at all anymore. Which is why I want an explanation. There's a reason why I'm here, and I want to know what it is. She deserves that much. I think you're owed at least that much. It's a bit of a long story, though. All the more reason for me to be the one to tell it. Huh? I'll tell Winters. I was there. It should be me. And you're busy, aren't you? You don't exactly have all day. Right. Thank you. Don't mention it. But before that, anything you want from us first, Mia. Gotta keep our priorities straight, after all. No point in me telling you anything only for us all to die. Oh, you want to go over some things with me, right? That's right. This case is full to the brim with vague, unexplained happenings. One of the most mysterious pieces of the puzzle is the victim himself. Victim Curtis Allen Bishop. Born on August 27, 1979. Died July 18, 2019. He was 39 years old. That's almost all we know about him. He was a genius detective. Solitary, abrasive, slightly paranoid, and investigating NX0 on his own. Detective Klein, do you have any idea at all what he was thinking that night? I do. You do? Yeah, kind of. Well, then by all means, let's get you over to the witness stand. Yep. Can't we just do this right here, Bia? No, witness stand, now. So I understand you have a new perspective on Bishop's movements for us, eh, detective? That's, right. You don't sound all that sure of yourself. Well, there's a good reason for that. Take whatever we can get. You can start whenever you're ready, detective. All right. Why Bishop was there? But simply, despite being threatened by S.H.I.E.L.D. not to tell the cops, I told Kurt about that phone call. Together we made plans to keep surveillance at the hospice that night. See who came and went. When Kurt drove to my place, to pick me up, I chickened out. I told him it was too dangerous and convinced him to stay away. Or so I had thought. Kurt Bishop knew S.H.I.E.L.D. was meeting the survivors that night. In fact, brings a whole new slew of questions with it. Hey, detective. This marks the second time you've admitted to withholding information about the case in the last hour. But everything, you've got every right to be pissed. No, I'm pissed at myself. Even after all these years, he's still got his claws in me. But this Bishop fellow was a policeman, was he not? Did the fireman not inform this individual, and thereby the proper authorities? It sounds to me like the onus to inform was on Mr. Bishop. It's not his fault. I told him to keep his secret. Not only was my life on the line, the LAPD would never have let us go to the hospice if they knew. You promised Donald and I that you wouldn't go. It seems our alliance has continued to be tenuous at best, fireman. I promised not to meet with S.H.I.E.L.D. Never said anything about staying away from the hospice. I get where you're coming from. Why'd you want to go as a pair, anyway? Question better left for the cross-examination. Now, let's get to it. Don't really know what we're going to gain from this, but... let's find out.
Hold it!
This is S.H.I.E.L.D. we're talking about. Is it worth the risk? Yeah, it's a gamble, that's for sure. On the other hand, Kurt is the authority when it comes to S.H.I.E.L.D. No one knew him more than he did. I could roll the dice and get his help. I could confront the reality of my situation on my own. I guess my faith in him outweighed my faith in myself. Just to be certain, you told Bishop and Bishop alone, right? Yep, just him. Who else was even qualified to help? And how exactly did Bishop end up helping you?
Hold it!
Surveillance? Could you elaborate? Kurt and I came up with a simple but effective plan to gather intel from a distance. S.H.I.E.L.D. was supposed to meet with us at the hospice. I had both Donald's and Mara's word that they would not be attending. And setting aside the wild card that is Nathaniel Montclair, who we couldn't verify anyway, the only individual who should have been there that night was S.H.I.E.L.D. So all Kurt and I had to do was watch for vehicles entering and exiting the hospice grounds. Vehicles? That's right. This was how we planned it. There's only one road leading to the hospice, which is too remote to reasonably walk to. Kurt and I would show up a few hours early and park in a dark corner of the hospice's lot. From there, we'd have a good view of the road leading in, as well as the entrance to the building. If anyone entered or left the hospice or the surrounding area, we would know. And also take note of the models and plates of the cars already parked there to look up later. Theoretically, we'd leave having never even been seen, with a short list of suspects. That's actually a pretty good plan. Call me impressed, Detective. However, this plan was never actually used, was it? No, it wasn't.
Hold it!
You chickened out? Why? It's, well... Let me preface this by saying that I will probably never regret anything like I regret that decision. I've done some pretty regrettable shit. I started overthinking things, I guess. I thought about how meticulously put together the room and board was. Thought about how sudden and unexpected that phone call was. Started wondering if I wasn't walking into a trap or something. The plan was solid, but couldn't be that easy to get the drop on Shield. Could it? There has to be something else going on, I thought. You psyched yourself out, in other words. The strangest part is that I can't even say for sure if I was wrong. For all I know, it was a trap. And Kurt walked into it alone. If I'd gone with him, and I prevented his death, I'll probably wonder about it for the rest of my life. I got a question, if you don't mind. Bishop came to pick you up in his car. That's right. What time was this? I wanted to show up early, so it would have been around 10 o'clock. Why does Murdoch look so confused?
Hold it!
Why do you think he went alone? We already know why. Remember this letter? It was found in Bishop's desk at the precinct. Regardless of what Detective Klein told his partner, Bishop had his own reason for going to the hospice. Namely, to meet with whoever saw it in this letter. Cosmonaut. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Hold on. Did Bishop ever mention this letter to you, Detective? No, never. Considering what was at stake, I don't know why he didn't bring it up. I've been trying to wrap my head around that letter since we found it. How odd. Unsurprisingly, the detective's testimony is concise and to the point. Even still, it contains a number of very interesting new facts. Bishop knew about the meeting with Shield, for one. He also didn't intend to go to the hospice alone. More importantly, something about the testimony feels off. Things really went as Charlie says they did. Shouldn't we have evidence of... His personal effects have no mention of a car.
Objection!
So I present the autopsy report. Detective, there's something I'd like to clarify about your testimony. You claim that Detective Bishop came to pick you up and drive you to the hospice. That's right. This actually changes a lot, because this means that Shield could have taken Bishop's car keys and left. Tell me, what do you need in order to drive a car? A driver's license? Insurance? Why, the car itself, of course. Well said, Montclair. Well, with up-to-date technical skills and know-how? There you go. Keys. I'm talking about car keys. Detective, say Bishop drove to the hospice. But as per the autopsy report, the only key the victim had on his person was his house key. Ergo, the victim could not, and did not, drive to the hospice. And yet, you claimed that the victim first drove to your house, Charlie. How do you explain this discrepancy? Explain it? How do you expect me to do something like that? I'm just telling you how things went down. I don't know what happened to Kurt after I saw him. Could he have dropped the keys at some point? Maybe he left them in the car.
Objection!
You know, Detective, I don't think I buy your story either. In fact, I know you're making it up. Well now. What? I'm not lying. Kurt didn't have his keys on him, then yeah, that sounds like a contradiction for sure. The problem isn't because I lied about Kurt driving. There's something we're missing. As it so happens, we've got a bigger issue here than missing car keys. Detective, you're pretty well aware of this yourself, so you have no excuse for messing this up. We were never able to establish how Bishop got to the hospice, because none of the cars in the hospice's parking lot belonged to him. Till now, we've had to assume he made the trip on foot, as strange as that is. With your testimony, that theory makes even less sense than before. The only vehicles in the lot were Graves' Beater, Winter's SUV, and Volkov's nondescript white van. That's us. Tell them where did the victim's vehicle disappear to, I wonder? I dunno. Oh, I think you do. The lot is on a hill, so it couldn't have been carried away by the floodwater. The road out of the hospice was blocked by the water as well, so no one could have driven it off. They threw in some serious hijinks, the only way we can explain the absence of both car and keys. But you're trying to mislead us for some reason, Detective. If you say so, buddy. What would I stand to gain by lying about something like this anyway? Now, I volunteered this information. I was going to offer my story only to make it all up. I'd have been better off not saying anything. Actually, I think there's a fairly compelling reason for you to lie like that. That reason is zero. What? If you don't make some serious headway on Bishop's murder, we're probably going to die. To that end, it's in your best interest to be helpful. Hence, you're coming forward with this testimony. It's just as important that you look as innocent as possible, lest we start to suspect you. In other words, I think that at least some of what you've said is true. But if you told it like it is, it would make you look bad. Hence the lie. So let me ask you this, Detective. Are you Shield? Did you murder Kurt Bishop? What? No, of course not. And yet we've just caught you telling a lie. Puts you on the chopping block. Understand? Listen or not, now we have to spend valuable time figuring out what your deal is, Detective. If you're truly an innocent party in all this, then you'd better hurry up and tell us the whole truth. You don't want us to have to waste even more time, do you, Charlie? Savage, but no. Savage, but probably justified. Really messed this up, didn't I? So you admit it? Yeah. You got me. I lied. Huh. Didn't realize you had become such a pushover, Klein. Look who's talking. So parts of your story were false? The part about Bishop driving, for one? It'd probably be faster if I just start over. Mind if I give my testimony again? Do it, and do it properly this time. Got you once already, so don't even think about stretching the truth again. I won't. You've got my word. Which has proven to be not very valuable. As Miss Fay so kindly pointed out, I've already screwed up what I was trying to do, so... better for worse, this will be the unadulterated truth. Alright. Round 2. I really did tell Kurt about the call out from S.H.I.E.L.D., and we really did make plans to conduct surveillance. I didn't chicken out, against my better judgment. 2 of us went as planned. I drove. We were supposed to stay in the car and keep watch. Around midnight, Kurt suddenly left. He said he was going inside to investigate. He said he had a plan, and a text if anyone showed up. Did as he asked. When the water level started rising, I had no choice but to leave without him. tried texting and calling Kurt's cell repeatedly. I never heard from him again. Okay. So there wasn't another person at the hospice that night after all, huh? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Witness has stated that he remained outside the entire time. Sounds like something I would have said. Ugh. Rude. This is the truth that Charlie wanted to conceal. I sort of understand where he was coming from. But this wouldn't have been a problem if he had just told the authorities in the first place. Well, we can't say for sure that the testimony is the truth. Precedent has been set. We know he's willing to lie to protect himself. You still telling lies, Detective? Is this finally the truth? Time to find out. Let's go.
Hold it!
Alright, what do you got for me? What make these two facts important enough to keep? Like you said, it's in my best interest to be helpful. I knew at least a little about what Kurt was thinking that night, and you didn't. I couldn't figure out what he was really planning on my own. Boldly lied in pursuit of the truth. Was it really any worse? Think of what the reaction would have been if I had just said all this first time around. To the hospice, man. The scene of the crime. I hid that fact until now. Was there any way to mention that without looking suspicious as hell? Because frankly, that's suspicious as hell. Fair. You would have at least saved us the time it took to get to that point. Now that we're here, are we any closer to our goal? I don't think so. We don't have the time to explore each and every aspect of this crime. We had to cut the fat. Believe me when I say that there isn't anything you're gonna learn from this testimony. I'll be the judge of that. Now, if you were a detective, let's get into the heart of things.
Hold it!
This plan. You gave us an overview last time. Has anything about this plan changed since your last testimony? No. We'll tell the truth about our plan. Just so we're clear, could you go over it once more? As Donald and Damara declined to attend, Shield was the only one who should have gone to the hospice. Based on that info, Kurt and I came up with a plan to catch Shield. Or at least learn something about them. All we had to do was monitor who entered and left the hospice on the grounds that night. So Kurt and I went to the hospice around 10 that evening. I drove us both. We parked at the back corner of the parking lot. It was dark enough to mostly hide us from view. Alright, recorded the license plates and models of the cars parked there. See the entrance to the grounds of both the building. All we had to do was wait. Anyone else know this plan? No. Just Kurt and I. The timeline's gonna be important. Braves arrived at 11:30. If you actually witnessed someone who you thought was Shield, what would you have done? Let them go. Made their license plate and, ideally, their face as well. It wouldn't have been too hard to get a name and address from those. Their face. I brought a camera with me just in case. I didn't end up actually taking any pictures with it, though. Alright, I think we've heard enough. Please continue, Detective. Oops.
Hold it!
He just left. Yeah. All of a sudden, he just opens the car door and gets out. Do you know the exact time this occurred? It was midnight, give or take a few minutes. You know, Bishop got to the back door around 12:11. Given that he had to walk around the hospice and fight it in the dark and pouring rain, 12 was reasonable. More importantly, what were you doing while this was happening? As to what the hell he was doing, naturally. And how'd he answer? He didn't, really. He said that he was going to scope out the interior and come right back. In reality, he was most likely going to meet with whoever sent him this letter. I guess so. Detective Bishop never mentioned this letter to you, is that correct? First I heard about it was from Detective McClane 2 days later. I don't know why Kurt kept it from me. Given the risk, the detective must have considered meeting with this failed fella to be extremely important. Could it be that he did not want to give you the chance to talk him out of it? We don't really know anything about that letter at all, do we? I have some thoughts about it, but you're right. We don't. As it stands now, we don't have a clue who the sender is or what they wanted with Bishop. You have any ideas, Detective Klein? All I know is what he told me. A plan? What was this plan? I don't know. You wouldn't tell me. We can infer that part. It was to pick the lock and on the back door and gate entry that way. That's about it, though. Did you attempt to stop Detective Bishop from leaving, Charlie? Tried to talk him down, of course. Obviously, he didn't listen to me. Gotta have to try and, I don't know, restrain him or something. Knock some sense into him. But he'd already gone. Went off into the night. So I got back in the car and waited. What else could I have done? Now, I realize it will come up already, if so, but, did you see anyone coming or going that night? At 11:29, Donald Graves rolled up in his crappy old Pontiac Sunfire, plate number 6471NJW. I watched him get out, walk to the front door, and wait for Winters to let him inside. Other than that, not a soul. What were the cars that were already in the parking lot? Only cars present were Volkovs and Winters. What did you and Bishop think when Graves arrived unannounced? That must have been a surprise. Well, yes and no. On one hand, he had gone back on his word. But, so had I, in a way. His being there didn't automatically make him a shield. Well, we knew he had just caved into his curiosity. Or his anger. The way he actually got into that hospice was really not sneaky at all. Speaking of which, did Graves have the crossbow with us as he approached the hospice? Hate to say it, but I don't know. Darn. The hospice grounds were somewhat lit by the light spilling out of the facility. There aren't many windows on the ground floor, so the areas around the building were dark. I didn't get a good look at Graves until he reached the front door. Did you see Graves open the hospice doors and retrieve anything? No. That would have been just after 12, right? That time I was busy trying to tell Kurt how to leave. So I wasn't looking at the hospice. So you didn't see him, but it's possible that it happened. That's it in a nutshell. So you decided to wait for Bishop to return. What'd you do in the interim? Well, I wasn't able to wait for very long. Abandoned him at the hospice. Your friend and partner, potentially left alone, trapped with Shield. Your actions strike me as cold, Detective. You and me both. Rain was coming down hard, and the water level was rising fast. I'd either leave right then, or wait around and get submerged. My hands were tied. According to this diagram, though, the water level never rose high enough to submerge the parking lot. Just how the hell was I supposed to know that? Water was rising. The wind was so loud I couldn't hear myself think. Big matters worse. Are these calls verifiable? Not right now, sadly. Bishop's call carrier is currently working on retrieving backups of the recordings they lost in the flood. Bishop's cell phone just so happened to get pierced by the crossbow bolt that took his life. Not to mention that any attempts between 11:51 and 12:21 wouldn't have gone through to the blackout. It's like the universe itself was conspiring to keep that info from us. Like, really? Who keeps their phone in their chest pocket? Detective Klein. Did you try going back for Bishop? Sure sure did. Tried about every hour, till 6 or 7 o'clock. Unfortunately, the road leading to the hospice just wasn't traversable. Then I got a call from dispatch. Someone had reported a murder at Jameson Memorial. They didn't say who the victim was, but I knew. So I went. The road wasn't clear, but the water was low enough that I could drive through it. Ran into Detective McLean when I got there, and the rest is history. Damn it, I can't find a single flaw in this testimony. They really lie, or they just to guide us in the right direction. This is really a dead end. I don't mean to rush us, but I told you there wasn't anything more to find here, and we have been at this for a while now. I hate to say it, but he's right, Mia. I haven't noticed anything strange or useful in his testimony. I'm sure you don't need reminding, but we do have a time limit. Damn it. Even though he's admitted to being at the hospice, there's just nothing here to work with. I don't think I have a choice. Defense rests. Sorry if I ended up wasting our time. It wasn't my intention. What matters now is finding another lead, right, Mia? Is there really nothing here? Nothing at all. There is. Guess we don't have what it takes to find it. Not now, anyway. Suppose we have no choice, do we? Back to the drawing board. Suppose in the end, we have to hear your testimony. Damara, I'd like to talk to you about the night of the murder. You know I have nothing to do with this, right? What good will it do? Maybe not, but you were supposed to be a part of it. She'll summoned you to the hospice. I doubt you were able to ignore that fact entirely. You must have some thoughts about it. I'd like to hear about them. Well, you aren't wrong, I suppose. Though I can't imagine the musings of a middle-aged stoner being all that helpful. If I had other avenues, I wouldn't be asking. Huh. I appreciate the honesty. Alright, fine. Let's get this over with. Excellent. Just step over here, then, if you please. Wow. You're putting me on the witness stand and everything. How formal. No sense in questioning you by myself. Like it or not, we're all in this together. Alright, enough of the sentimentalism. You really think we're going to get anything out of this, Mia? We won't know until we try. Alright, it's all only our lives on the line. Whatever, right? Let's wrap this up quickly. Miss Rochelle, if you would. If you insist. Old wounds and new. Sheila invited me to the hospice, but I didn't go, so I don't actually know what happened there. Still, can't help but wonder why Sheila invited the four of us to such a conspicuous location. A lot of people got hurt, I gather. Sheila must have known things would turn out this way. Feels like that must have been exactly what he wanted. To stir it all back up again. As expected, it's not helpful. Mars theory. Might be a different angle to approach, though. It's definitely something we've all wondered about at one point or another. Someone on the outside looking in, it's not surprising that the context would stick out to her. Which is totally fair. She makes a good point. We haven't really addressed this before. Circumstances are definitely strange, but are they useful?
Hold it!
As per your agreement with Graves and Detective Klein, correct? That's right. Is there any proof that you did not, in fact, go to the hospice that night? No. All I can say is that it would have been foolish to go out that night. What do you mean by that? Obviously she's talking about Hurricane Seth. No one in their right mind would have gone out that night unless their life depended on it. Which further highlights how odd Donald Graves' actions are. Which, at this point, is beating a dead horse. thorough. Do you remember what you were doing at the time of the crime, witness? Well, I'm a full-fledged witness now, huh? Sorry. Habit. To be clear, the crime occurred sometime around midnight, right? It's the time Shield specified, but I don't actually know when the murder happened. Midnight's close enough for our purposes. I was awake because of the storm. Parts of LA were flooding, according to the radio. I live in a fairly elevated part of the city, but I was still nervous. As was everyone, I'm sure. I had packed a bag. Water level began to creep up. I was going to get out. Anything else come to mind? Not really. No. Made a pot of coffee to stay awake, but that was pretty much it. It was all pretty pedestrian, but this is still Damara's account at the time of the crime. Should I have her add a statement? Just to be thorough? Sure. What, do you think you'd add this to your testimony? I don't see why not. Suspicious. You tried to contact the other three at all. Confirm that they were staying away from the hospice as promised. No. They said that you were watching the water that leave if it got high enough. Did this ever occur? No. So you remained at home all night? Yes. Do you remember what time you fell asleep? It was light out. Did you have any contact with Charlie Kleiner and Nathaniel Montclair between then and now? No. No, it's... Well, that went nowhere. Well, press through this. What do you mean by a conspicuous location? A medical facility? At midnight? How did he expect us to get in? That's a good point, actually. Not to mention all of the security cameras and whatnot I'm sure the hospice is fitted with. Just by showing up, we would be breaking the law. Imagine if Shield got what he wanted and all four of us went. We'd definitely have gotten caught. As a point of interest, Bishop was actually caught on camera. And the reason we did not have footage of it is because the flood destroyed the security room. That's right, I had made a note of that in the timeline. Was Bishop simply unaware of the camera? It seems unlikely given how paranoid everyone said he was. That he'd just not care about being caught breaking and entering into the hospice. And if so, why? And the three of us paid a visit to Nathan before the day of the meeting. I paid special attention to the hospice's security system. Really, I don't know how anyone was supposed to get in there after hours. Apparently all you need to do is knock on the front door. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I was being a good neighbor. I seriously can't come up with a good explanation for this. You know the employee entrance was locked because Bishop had a picket to get in. You know that the front door was locked from Winter's testimony. Then how was this thing supposed to work? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Just more questions. Winters could be lying. Maybe she actually left the front door unlocked on purpose. I can't prove that any more than I can prove she's the culprit. The only alternative I can think of is that Shield wanted this to be as messy as possible. If that's true, then why? For Christ's sake, we don't understand anything about this case, do we? We're supposed to find Shield in this state. There has to be something. Just a sliver, the thinnest of threads. If I can't find it soon.
Hold it!
I think Shield predicted that violence would erupt that night. Given what we know about Shield's involvement at this point, that sounds like an exaggeration. I understand where you're coming from. Now understand where I am coming from. It's not a matter of coercion or persuasion. He just knows us, how we'll react to certain stimuli. It's not something any of us like to think about, but it's the truth. If I'm interpreting this right, if saying one of the four of you is responsible for what happened that night. I can't imagine it going any other way. Looks like those two agree.
Hold it!
Stir it all back up again. That's not really a motive. It's what happened. And had it gone the way Shield seems to have intended it, serial abductee trio break into hospice, murder officer trying to bring kidnapper to justice. Makes for a hell of a headline. We might have gotten something close to it anyways if it wasn't for the hurricane stealing the spotlight. So you think Shield wanted to rekindle interest in his work? I think it's possible. Don't ask me why, though. I don't necessarily disagree. That's not what I meant. There was a certain line he liked to repeat. Shield, that is. Takes great pressure to forge diamonds from stone. That's the one. I think it was his way of telling us it was all for our own good. By overcoming the misery he put us through, we would somehow become better people. Huh. Guess he was trying to convince us he was the good guy. Who knows if he believed it himself? Perhaps he wanted to test his philosophy with the incident. Lure us in, see if we'd take the bait. Act the way he thought we would. See if we'd become diamonds. That way he's proven his own bullshit. The primary focus of this testimony is the context surrounding the crime. As odd as it is to say, that's something we haven't given much consideration to yet. But still, the general feeling I'm getting here is that we all agree that it doesn't make sense. That's okay? As if Shield's involvement gives this case license to stop abiding by any identifiable logic. The real problem here isn't that there might not be a reason. It's that I can't prove there was a reason. Not with this evidence. Not with this testimony. Unless there's some other thread I can follow with this testimony, it's an utter dead end. That's because there was a blackout at the time. Oh? Are you not going that route? Huh? Wait, hold on now. What? That doesn't make any... You, look like you've got something to say over there, Mia. Well, I mean, I guess I'll at least ask about it. Miss Rochelle? About this, pot of coffee. Would you elaborate? Maybe? What do you mean? Like, do you remember when you made it exactly? It was midnight. Like I said. Why? Out of curiosity, were you, sober that night? I was. There's a lot to consider on that particular night. Great. So, about this coffee. How did you make it? Okay, I think we're officially grasping at straws here. Just humor me for a minute. Well, witness, I made it using my coffee maker. And, this coffee maker... Does it plug into the wall? Or something? Yes? It's not how I thought this cross-examination would go.
Objection!
You're lying, Damara. Well, what we certainly got there. To some degree. What does this mean? I don't know. We'll find out next time.